Welcome to the deep dive. We often focus on the big stuff in language, right? The words, the
Yeah,
sentences.
main building blocks.
Exactly. But today, we're going to zoom in, way in, on the tiny titans of text English punctuation.
The commas, the periods, the dashes,
Those little guys. And they have a surprising amount of, well, power.
they really do. It's more than just grammar rules.
Totally. Just think about it. A tiny comma shift, like let's eat grandma versus let's eat grandma.
Oh, yeah. One's an invitation, the other's, well, a bit alarming for grandma.
Right. It just shows how these small details can, totally change the meaning. Huge impact.
And that's kind of what our mission is today in this deep dive, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want to unpack the hidden meanings, the potential pitfalls of punctuation.
Yeah, get behind the scenes.
Exactly. So you, listening, can feel more confident, more aware of how these marks shape writing and reading.
Make you punctuation savvy. Okay, so let's jump right in. First up, the three hidden powers of punctuation.
Ooh, hidden powers. I like it.
Let's start with the ellipsis. Those three little dots.
The trailing off.
Yeah. Turns out they can inject this sort of secret tone, like suspense maybe, or even a bit of a side eye.
That's a great way to put it. Like, take this example, I guess, if you really want to.
Mhm.
See, that ellipsis, it suggests reservation, maybe disapproval, without saying it outright. It's like an invitation for the reader to fill in that hesitation.
The unspoken part, it speaks volumes. But okay, here's the thing. There's a danger zone, right?
Definitely.
Like if you overuse them, doesn't it sometimes get a bit, I don't know, creepy? Okay. It just lands weirdly, doesn't it?
It really can. Too many pauses, too much
Yeah.
trailing off that can create unease, or yeah, even feel passive-aggressive.
So it's not just grammar.
Not at all. It's about rhythm, emotion. Context is everything. Intention matters.
Okay, power number two, the M dash, that longer one.
Right, the dramatic one.
Yeah. This feels like it's all about like drama or maybe a sudden detour in your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Think about the dramatic pause it creates. She was the one, the only one who knew.
Ooh, yeah.
The dashes just spotlight the only one. Makes it punchier, adds suspense.
It's like a little drum roll in the sentence. And then there's the other thing you mentioned, the quick change of mind.
Right.
Like, bring chips. No, wait, dip too. The dash just slams on the brakes, pivots.
Yeah, it shows how thoughts actually flow sometimes, you know? Less rigid, more conversational maybe. It puts your thought process right there on the page.
Makes sense. Okay, power number three, the semicolon.
The semicolon.
This one often gets labeled fancy or even pretentious. Why is that, do you think?
Well, that's definitely the stereotype, isn't it? Like, I have a PhD, therefore I use semicolons.
Right.
It's often seen as, yeah, overly formal academic writing.
Well, what's the real deal? When should you actually use one? Is it just for showing off?
Not necessarily. Basically, a semicolon connects two closely related independent clauses.
Okay, meaning two sentences that could stand alone.
Exactly. But they're linked in meaning. It shows a closer relationship than a period might. Creates a smoother flow sometimes.
Ah.
But, and this is a key pro tip from our sources if you're ever unsure, semicolon or period.
Yeah.
Just use the period, clarity first. Always.
Good advice. Keep it simple if you're not sure. And, speaking of misinterpretations, we had a listener's story about the ellipsis.
Oh, yeah.
Someone texted, "See you then," to a date.
Uh-oh.
And the reply was basically, "Why so ominous?"
Oof. Yeah, I can see that.
This shows how loaded these little marks can be, right? Especially in text where there's no tone of voice.
That's a perfect example.
So-
So subjective, so easily misunderstood when you strip away all the other context.
Wild. Okay, so we've seen some hidden powers. Let's shift gears. Area 2, the great punctuation wars. US versus UK versus internet.
The punctuation battleground.
That sounds dramatic, but yeah,
Mhm.
even something basic like where you put a period with quotes causes arguments.
It really does. Let's start there. Quotation marks and periods. Here in the U.S., the standard is period inside. The truth, full stop, inside.
Right. But across the pond, in the UK.
Usually the other way. Single quotes often, and the punctuation goes outside. The truth. Like that.
Huh. It's subtle, but it's a definite difference. Signals where you're from, almost.
For sure. And then there's the internet perspective,
Hmm.
which, according to the sources, is kind of messy.
Let's see how.
More of a free-for-all. You might see the truth is a lie. No single rule everyone follows. Online stuff is just more informal, faster, less worried about old conventions.
The Wild West of punctuation. Okay, let's talk Oxford comma. Oh, boy.
Yes. The serial comma.
This one gets people really worked up, I hear. What's the actual fight about?
Okay, so the Oxford comma is that last comma in a list of 3 or more things, right before the and or. So A, B, and C, comma before the and.
That's the Oxford style. And the other way, the rebel style.
The rebels just leave it out. A, B, and C. No comma before the and.
Seems mine.
You'd think. But leaving it out can sometimes make things ambiguous, unclear.
And didn't the sources mention some serious legal drama over this?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Apparently a lawsuit, like $10 million worth, hinged on whether that comma was there or not in a contract.
Wow. 10 million bucks on a comma. That really drives home the power these things have in the real world.
Absolutely. Ambiguity in legal text, very expensive. Precision matters. Down to the comma.
Okay, next battle. Versus bow. Like, using both together. Is there actually a difference?
Well, some people feel there is. What?
Yeah.
Like that question mark first often feels like pure shock. Bam. Surprise.
Okay. And the other way.
What? Exclamation first might blend shock with confusion. Like, you're surprised and try to figure it out.
Huh. Subtle, but I kind of see it. Now, what about those grammar snobs the source mentioned? They wanted something called an interrobang.
Ah, the interrobang. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a single symbol, looks like a question mark superimposed on an exclamation point. Ugh.
Yeah.
Like that. The idea was to neatly show both a question and excitement in one go. But, yeah, as the sources say, it never really caught on.
A cool idea that fizzled out.
Pretty much. You barely ever see it. More of a fun fact now.
Okay, related to all this style stuff, we got a listener hack.
Practical tips.
Yeah. Apparently for texts, sometimes using no punctuation gives off a chill vibe. Just words.
Yeah, very casual.
But then for emails, using proper punctuation still makes you seem smart and, professional. That feels right, doesn't it?
It does. It's all about adapting, isn't it? Knowing your audience, the context. Informal digital chat is one thing. Formal communication is another.
Yeah.
Different expectations.
Makes sense. Okay, we've seen the wars. Now, area 3. Punctuation fails. Even natives make. It's not just learners who mess this stuff up, huh?
Oh, not at all. Happens all the time. One huge area. Apostrophes. Our sources call them apostrophe crimes.
Okay, lay 'em on us. What are the big offenses?
Well, a super common one is getting plural possessives wrong, like something belonging to multiple bananas. People write bananas.
Right, with the apostrophe before the S.
Yeah, but it should be bananas. Apostrophe after the S. That trips people up constantly.
Okay, what else?
And then the absolute classic, it's versus its.
Oh, yeah. That one's everywhere.
It seems to plague everyone. It's short for it is or it has. It shows possession like the dog wagged its tail. No apostrophe for the possessive its.
Still gets me sometimes, I admit. Okay, another common mistake.
Comma splices. That's another big one.
Comma splice. Remind me.
That's when you join 2 complete sentences, 2 independent clauses with just a comma. Like, I ran, I hid, I cried.
Ah, okay. Why is that wrong?
Technically, grammatically, you need more than just a comma there. You should use a semicolon, maybe, or add a conjunction like and, or just make them separate sentences.
But people do it sometimes for effect, right? Like artistic license.
Exactly. Sometimes it's a stylistic choice, especially in creative writing. But in standard formal writing, it's usually considered an error.
Got it. And the last fail on our list, overusing exclamation marks.
Yes. You see that a lot online, don't you?
Huh. Yeah. What's the problem there? One is okay, but loads are bad.
Pretty much. One exclamation mark shows excitement, emphasis, fine. But using a whole string of them often comes across as, well, a bit much.
How so?
Overly dramatic, maybe insincere, or just kind of frantic. The sources had that funny example. Thanks. Like you're terrified of seeming rude.
Screaming your gratitude. So there's a helpful pro tip for commas, actually, that might apply here, too. Read your writing aloud.
Ah, yes. Good one.
If you find yourself gasping for breath where you put a comma, maybe rethink it, or maybe that's where it should be. Helps you find the natural pauses.
That's really practical advice. It connects the punctuation back to the rhythm of speech. Helps make sure it clarifies, doesn't just clutter.
Okay, so we know the common mistakes. How do we avoid them? Let's move to our final big area. How to punctuate like a pro.
All right, leveling up our punctuation game.
What are the strategies? Let's start with, say, formal writing, like essays or work reports.
Okay. In formal contexts, using punctuation correctly, and maybe even strategically, sends signals. Like using a semicolon properly can show you understand sentence structure, that you can link complex ideas effectively.
So it subtly says, I know the rules.
Kind of, yeah. And using an em dash thoughtfully, not randomly, can be powerful for making a point really stand out, or for smoothly adding extra info.
So it's about precision and maybe showing a bit of style, even formally.
Exactly. It adds to the impression of authority, clarity.
What about the other end? Texts, casual emails, social media.
The rules get much looser there, obviously. As we said, ellipses can create that sense of mystery. Or maybe just show you're tired. Long day.
Ha! Yeah.
And sometimes, yeah, deliberately using less punctuation or none at all gives off that relaxed, chill, vibes-only feeling.
It's all about the platform and who you're talking to.
Totally. Understanding the unspoken norms of that space. Adapting.
And then there's the dark side. Passive-aggressive punctuation.
Oh, yes. The weaponized comma.
Our sources mention classics like per my last email.
Yeah.
You just know that means read it this time.
Oh, absolutely. That's not really about the period at the end, it's the whole phrase, but punctuation can definitely amplify that feeling.
How does punctuation itself do that?
Well, an ellipsis is great for it, right? That trailing off implies something unsaid, like disapproval or judgment.
We actually had another listener story about this. Perfect example.
Go on.
Someone's roommate left a note about chores. It just said, dishes. Really?
Ouch! The ellipsis in italics for emphasis. Double whammy.
Apparently that was the last straw. The roommate actually moved out because of that note.
Wow. See, these little marks carry serious emotional weight. They shape the whole tone, the interpretation, sometimes with major real-world results.
Unbelievable. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've gone pretty deep today into this often ignored world of punctuation.
I really have.
We found those secret tones, how ellipses and dashes add layers. We explored the punctuation wars, US versus UK, the whole Oxford comma drama.
And the mistakes even native speakers make, like with apostrophes and commas.
And we talked about how to use punctuation smartly differently for formal stuff versus texts, and even how it gets used passive-aggressively.
So hopefully everyone listening feels a bit more like a punctuation ninja now.
Yeah. Ready to wield commas and dashes with skill?
With power? Or maybe, for a little bit of petty vengeance, if needed.
Huh. Use your powers wisely. And just to leave everyone with a final thought, think back to that grandma example.
Right. Let's eat grandma versus let's eat grandma.
Such a tiny change, just adding or moving a comma, completely alters the meaning, the relationship, everything. It's just a perfect, if slightly morbid, reminder. Punctuation matters.
It really, really does. And speaking of subtle shifts in language making a big difference, join us next time on The Deep Dive.
What are we diving into next?
We're tackling how to sound like a native without losing your accent.
Blah, blah.
We'll get into why one word, like water, can sound like water or woter or even war-da.
Ah, the pronunciation rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Exactly. And how all those can be perfectly correct depending on where you are. It's going to be another fascinating look at language nuances.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.